what I'd like you to think about is in your own Navy SEAL training, whether you're making $50,000, $70,000, $90,000, $100,000, $500,000, $1 million, if you want to take yourself to the next level, what level of rigor do you need to have? What level of discipline do you need to have? And how can you begin to enter this phase with that kind of mentality? Because that is what's really important. And so every time we talk about a concept, what I would like you to do is ask yourself, what is the goal? Why is anybody talking about this? What am I going to rehearse? What do I need to tell myself? And how do I need to manage the emotions that are getting in the way of my making the money? Now, those of you who've heard me speak about this in other ways before, an example of this is fear of success, right? Which a lot of people think is sort of absurd. Like, why would I be afraid of being successful? Well, just think about the thing that we did this morning. And this is for everybody at home as well. Think about what we did this morning with all of those different brain regions. And imagine if your brain was getting a message like, I want to be successful. Okay, that's clear. If you were the brain, you would say, that's great. Okay, you want to be successful? Let's take you there. And so you'll be able to be goal-directed and get to your goal. But what if simultaneously you were saying to your brain, what if I fall? What if the higher I climb, the harder I fall? What if people hold me to the standard? What if I don't make it? What if I get stopped? What if people start wanting things from me that I don't want to give? All those brain regions are going to get totally confused. And so your path toward your goal becomes obstructed. The first concept that we're going to look at today, and I'm again going to ask you to really think about this deeply. The question you have to ask yourself is, if you are making $50,000 today, what is the way in which you are viewing life, and how can you change it? What we get to is the biology of life's lens, your interaction with perception. And this particular quote really captures it. Since we cannot change reality, let us change the eyes that see reality. And if we actually think about this, what we're saying is, if you look at the world through a rose-tinted lens, everything is going to look rose-colored. If you look at the world through a black and white lens, everything is going to look black and white. But the reality is that the way you look at the world is not really a function of your eyes. It's actually your brain that is determining how you perceive what's going on in your life. And so one of the overarching questions that I'm sure a lot of people will want to ask is, why talk about the brain? Can you really change your life lens in order to get to your goal? Now, one of the things I want you to really be thinking about as we're talking is not just to be listening to these words, but I would like your attention to be inward. I would like you to really be thinking. So take your attention right now and place it inward on your brain and imagine the changes that you are wanting to happen. And when you look at this next video, what you'll see is the kinds of changes that are possible. All this talk, all these exercises, all of these things are targeted at the structure that's in your skull. That's what we're trying to change. And take a look at some of the processes that can actually happen with new learning. And again, I really would want to emphasize here that listening and knowing is not the same as learning. Listening is, oh, that makes sense. That's cool. I get it. I understand. Oh, yeah, I've always known that. Of course we can change our perceptions. But learning is the ability to keep that information in your brain and to bring it back online when it matters. When you're in the stressful situation and you're saying to yourself, I went to this money thing, but I really can't figure out how to get to the next place in my life. That's when you need to remember what we're talking about. It's all about relevant recall. So take a look at the kinds of things that we are planning to do in this room and the commitment that you've made by being here today. The commitment that you've made is exactly what's going to be on this next slide. These are two neurons coming together with new learning. Just look at the beauty of the way in which these connections occur. The more you rehearse, the more you try to talk to yourself, This is exactly what's going on. This is a whole network of brain cells. This is how they communicate with each other. And if you're going to make up your mind to make more money, if you're going to change your mind to give up whatever limitations there were in your life prior to this, when we say change your mind, we're talking about exactly what you're looking at right now. Changing the way those cells are in your brain. Changing the ways in which they're connected. Breaking old habits so that the old connections are actually gotten rid of and you're laying down new mental pathways. Part of what you have to do is also unlearn the habits of the past and recognize that you are a work in progress. This is the beginning of a commitment to a new goal in your life. It is the beginning of a commitment to working with your brain to change the different ways in which your memories are formed, to change the impact of those memories on your life, and to give yourself a new lease on life.